Coming up, we're going to talk about what is argued as the funniest MCU movie to date, Thor Ragnarok. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sacred Rewatch. My name is Ethan Bronson, and this is where we are rewatching every project in the MCU in chronological order, leading up to the big one, Avengers Doomsday. We are watching literally everything so you don't have to, including this episode. Normally that's used in a negative connotation, but today it's in a positive connotation. We were actually really excited to watch this project today. Today We're going to be talking about Thor Ragnarok, as I just spoke about. Please make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to. Today, I am joined by our resident philosopher. Kind of a marathon recording today, Brody Leonard.
How you doing, everyone?
How's your day going?
It's going pretty good, dude. I'm still running. This is my yesterday, dude.
Yeah. So we just finished talking about Jessica Jones season 3 that will be coming out before this released. So if you're watching this, go give that episode some love. Some of the not as highly talked about projects that we were watching, like the Netflix shows, don't get as much attention as maybe like this one will. So just help us out. Go give it a watch. I don't need you to like
it. They are
it.
funny.
If you want to dislike it, I'm not going to encourage it. Give it some sort of attention,
Or we also have a video we did about the rumored Avengers trailer, which I think is also really fun. We just did
It was also wrong because it was the main emphasis of why we recorded was that it was coming out the next day. It still has not come out yet. By the time this comes out, actually no. By the time this comes out, it certainly will. People have seen it.
Certainly.
So go buy your Avatar Fire and Ash tickets. We've got a lot of other stuff. Huh?
It's confirmed to be there?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that it was like confirmed.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear the other rumor? I don't know how true this is.
Is it Mando and Grogu?
No, it still has to do about Doomsday. So apparently, they're releasing this teaser trailer before Avatar Fire and Ash on opening night. Like it's going to be the first thing that you see. And then 2 weeks later, they're releasing a different version of the trailer. And then 2 weeks after that, they're releasing another version of the trailer. And then 2 weeks after that, they're releasing another version of the trailer. There's 4 different versions of the trailer.
Interesting. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see.
I don't know how that can be true. Are they really expecting true MCU diehards to go buy Avatar Fire and Ash tickets 4 times?
Oh, they're going to play different ones at the theater. I thought you were saying they're releasing online.
I don't think they're going to release any of them online until after the theatrical run.
I don't know. They might as well. Then it gets around the mess of like, I know we want Avatar to do well. How many people owe James Cameron money? Right? Why are they boosting Avatar so much? Is it, I guess Disney is the association. But I don't know. It is pretty interesting. But 4 different versions is kind of crazy. Unless it's for different areas of the world.
Well, that's supposedly the reason there's 4 different ones is because it's going to be 4 different perspectives. There's going to be one Avengers-focused one Fantastic Four-focused one, another team, maybe that's the new Avengers or the Wakandans, and then Dr. Doom's perspective. Kind of interesting. Seems kind of wild that they're doing something this creative so early out, really at the 1-year mark, when we know confirmed-wise really nothing about this movie,
Yeah. I don't know.
There's a lot of leaks out there.
It's a weird trailer to think about because it's one of those that even when it drops, it's not going to feel real.
No, not at all.
Yeah, man. You're not going to, it just feels fake until you actually see the movie.
Mm-hmm. So we got our Avengers Doomsday talk out there. There's plenty of stuff to go watch on the channel. Go check it out. But today we are talking about Thor Ragnarok. Me and Brody actually just finished watching it, about an hour or so before recording this. So very fresh, very interesting conversation to be had. If you saw the Jessica Jones episode, Wyatt is not joining us today. He has watched it. He is just not feeling well. So He will be joining us hopefully for the next episode. Brody, how was it to watch a movie? Let's just start there. How was it to watch a movie versus a TV show?
It was so nice, man. I think the last movie I actually, like, sat down and watched was Back to the Future on the re-release, on the anniversary,
Mm,
and the theater re-release.
yeah,
Like, since then, unless we watched one, like, close after that, I don't think and I love movies. I was, like, just thinking, I was
yeah.
like, "Dude," I was like, "It's been a while since I've sat down and just watched a movie."
And I made it a
Yeah,
point too because you can definitely get caught up in this cycle of watching when you're watching TV shows of having your phone, kind of scrolling halfway through. I made it a point. I'm
oh,
gonna
yeah.
put my phone away. I'm gonna sit down, fix my attention span, and just lock in for 2 hours.
I already told you I didn't do that. But then again, this is a movie that I am much more familiar with.
Yes,
That is the
that is very
difference.
true. This is
Where, like, I
we're
feel
finally
like
back to a rewatch. You know?
yes, but, like, it's not even, like, one of the ones that I've only seen once or twice. Like,
No.
Ragnarok, it's one of those where they were on that Marvel to Netflix pipeline, where
Uh-huh.
once they hit Netflix, they're always on someone's TV.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, we've talked
Even
about that with Wyatt before, like, Guardians 2 was on there. You know what I mean?
even
Once they hit
cable. I
Netflix.
feel like, back
Yep.
back in the cable days, and still people have cable, YouTube TV, you know, you're scrolling. Thor Ragnarok seems to always be running in some capacity, you
It's
know?
got a good poster, man. Anytime you
It
see that
does.
poster on there, makes you kinda wanna watch it.
Yeah. So, how do you want to do this? You want to just do the score reveal? Do you want to do non-spoiler thoughts? I'll let you decide today.
Okay, so I do wanna clarify something. Just,
Hmm.
we clarified this in the Thor 2 episode, I think.
Yes.
This is, like, a fundamental thing where among my ranks, I am known as the person who doesn't like Thor 3 and 4, right?
Hmm.
Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok, I do not like, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think this is an amazing, pretty well-crafted movie.
Hmm.
When it comes to what you would ask for out of a superhero movie and a blockbuster like this, I think it's pretty solid, if not very solid. You know what I mean? When it
Hmm.
comes down to it,
Yeah.
it's just personally not the direction I would have liked to see the character go. And we'll get into that more. I just want to clarify that I will give a lot of this stuff high rankings and stuff, but I still fundamentally think that. But then again, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But I just want to clarify that just before it weighs on my opinions. I do not
Well,
think this is a bad movie.
and I will say this too, because we kind of had this effect with Doctor Strange where we thought Doctor Strange the movie was going to be one thing, and we came out of it and we're like, oh, didn't really remember it happening that way.
Well, it was,
So
like,
I'm
groundbreaking at the time, and then you look back at it now, and you're like, "This is kinda the norm now."
Yeah, and what I will say about Thor Ragnarok, I'm not saying recently, but for a good amount of time, it was a top 3 MCU movie for me.
I think for a lot of people. This was kind of if you think about how Deadpool and Wolverine is now, where
Yeah.
it was the comedy flick, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, just really funny comedy. This was like when,
Yeah.
almost like when Guardians 1 first hit,
Yeah.
you mean where people are like, "Oh, like, we can just have, like, funny movies like this that still, like,
Yeah, and
have, like,
still
emotional
be
moments."
MCU implications.
Exactly, and, like, a director's really taken their vision, like, this really got like, Taika Waititi was already a cool guy doing, like, tons of cool shows,
Yeah.
but this really raised them, and then watching this, you realize, like, "Oh, that's why he was gonna be doing a Star Wars trilogy."
Mhm.
You're like, "Oh, that's why." Like, this was, like, a big deal,
Yeah.
huge deal. You mean it was almost like a second James Gunn kinda thing,
Mhm.
where it's like, "Oh, this is a director with a clear vision that's separate from the main MCU."
Yeah. I think and the key word when I said keyword was a top 3 MCU movie for me. Not necessarily because of rewatching Ragnarok leading up to this. More, there's been other movies that I think a little bit more highly of now. Deadpool, Wolverine, being one of them.
Yeah,
Um, No Way Home still is one of them. We have yet to rewatch that in a formal capacity. I've obviously I've watched it several times now.
in the
Um,
same theater as me.
Yeah, yeah. Flew back from Hawaii just to come watch it with you guys.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
So this one, and with all our rewatches, I really do try to analyze it. Analyze the project, and how it makes me feel. And I came back from this one feeling a little bit different. So let's get our scores in, and then let's just talk about what we thought going into this as a rewatch.
All right.
I'm not gonna have the big reveal. I'll just tell you mine. I want to react off of yours.
Okay, you going first?
No, you go first. I'll.
I got a backwards 20 here.
But it's front facing for me, so you're good.
Okay, sweet. I didn't know if that was gonna reverse it.
It does. So, you know, we've been doing this podcast for a while now, just me and you. I mean, I've definitely done the most episodes, just you. I don't think I may have done 1 or 2 episodes with just Wyatt. You may have missed one when you went
Yeah,
to
I
South
missed it.
Dakota.
Yeah. There's one where I was traveling.
So I've definitely done the most with you, and I will say, every day that goes by, we're getting closer and closer to having the same score. I gave it a 19.5.
Hey, that might be one of our closest scores.
I think so.
That's actually crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
It is pretty
there was
wild.
that one time when you guys all had the same one and I was off by like a point. And I was like, oh.
If you go back to episode 1, 2, or even 3, me and Brody are very far off from each other. Very far
I'm not a
off.
scores person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said with this one, like I scored it good based off the stuff that was on the paper. But like my personal opinion is kind of outside of that.
Mm-hmm. So, what sticks out to you about rewatching this movie? What are your emotions you feel, especially since we just came out of finishing the movie?
It's fun, man. This is,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, this is a popcorn movie and a half. This is one where I would turn it on with like older people in the room that don't really
Yeah.
know what Marvel is, and they would still have a good time.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because I feel like this movie, and then you could kind of say this with all of the comedy based MCU movies. This movie, although this is how I enjoyed it, and I know this is how you enjoyed it probably as well. We watched it by ourselves, but this movie is so much fun watching it with other people. Having to have
Completely agree.
side conversations about a bit that happened, or character making this decision. But it's
Yeah.
just a fun movie to be around with people, and go watch.
And a lot of the lines aren't flat. Like there's
Yeah.
always something about the performance that's just like funny. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That is what takes like you can have a funny line, but that doesn't make you rewatch a movie. It's something
Yeah.
about how the actual scenes play out and how the actors play them.
Hmm.
That this is one of those movies where you're like, dude, the chemistry and how they're acting on screen is just so funny.
Yeah.
But I
So
do have a list of like the big changes that we had. I tried to keep track of our big changes from our previous Thor movies.
yeah, I'd love to hear that.
I needed to look into that because I'm like, why do I go against this? Because that's been my thing for a long time, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like. Remember my top 3 changed? Like I
Yes.
ended up like putting like Civil War actually pretty high because I
Hmm.
hadn't seen Civil War in a long time. So I was like, okay, so
Yeah.
I need to revisit this, see if it's really as good as I thought. So theme song changed in the beginning to that like
Yes.
synth music, but it still feels like it has elements of the score from the last movie. I will say there's
And
certain notes in there.
es- especially not just in the main title card, but throughout the movie. I feel like throughout the
Yeah,
movie, you feel it even more. It feels reminiscent of the original trilogy, or 2
exactly.
movies.
Which is interesting because each Thor movie we've had has had a different composer. All 4 of them
Yeah.
have different
Hmm.
composers. Um, but the really interesting thing is the synth in the beginning does take me out of it because it is the Ragnarok theme is in the synth music,
Hmm.
but really throughout the movie you don't get introduced to that until you get to Sakaar.
Yeah.
Sakaar is supposed to be the synth music, and then at the end of the movie they bring it back to the instrumental music.
Hmm.
So that wasn't as bad as I thought. Like for some reason I thought the whole movie music was like that, but it's really only once you get to Sakaar, once you get past the title. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? but it's a really fun synth song. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I think Marvel, and I know you appreciate just like a good classical score, right?
I
But
do.
Marvel, I think, increasingly has gotten really good at playing into different themes with more um I want to say tech based scores, but almost having
Yeah,
some almost EDM elements to it.
yeah, totally.
Um,
But I thought this was really cool tie-in because they have when Jeff Goldblum is first there and he's playing the synth. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like that's tied into the planet that they're on. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that's cool.
Hmm. So what what did you see difference wise besides just score
Okay.
between why you felt that way?
So right off the opening, this is the first movie where we don't get Odin giving a narration, which
Oh,
is
okay.
really interesting. It's Thor
Yeah.
talking to a skeleton. It's kind of played like a narration,
Hmm.
but it is a really big switch up because every other there's only two, but the two ones before this opened with Odin talking,
Yeah.
and Odin's still kicking it at the start of the movie. So I don't know, but I guess he would kind of have revealed the whole plot for the movie, even though the trailers already do that. He would have been like, "Here's Hela in these flashbacks." You know what I mean? And
Are
it's a
you
burden I've kept secret.
Yeah, are you saying though that you would have appreciated the movie if Odin was narrating it at the beginning? Or are you just saying that's just a
I
difference?
think this whole story's different than what an Odin narration would be. Like I
Because
said,
my
it would
my
just
head
reveal the whole thing.
canon is almost saying that it's almost foreshadowing, you know? Odin's
Yeah,
no longer going to be the king because he's not around anymore. Thor is, you know?
exactly, and it does kinda get you thinking, like, "Where's Odin?" You know what I mean? Like, even
Yeah.
subconsciously, but then again, who knows if other people are thinking this while they're watching it.
Mhm.
Um, in this movie, I feel like Thor's way more aware of his comedy. In the other movies,
Yes.
he's funny. The only times he's actually trying to be funny is when he's with his group of friends,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, that he fights with.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he's poking jokes at Loki, but most of
Mhm.
it, he's not really aware of what he's saying, like in the
Yeah.
pet store and stuff. So that's
Mhm.
just another big change that this movie makes. Um, Thor's outfit changes. We
Mhm.
still got like some dark red on the cape
Yeah.
from Dark World, but I think the suit's actually really nice.
Mhm.
Like it's like
No,
the gunmetal
it is
gray
really
look.
good. Mhm.
So I thought that was sick.
I'm
And they
I'm
do a
always a
cool.
fan of the sleeveless version of his outfits.
It's just better. It just makes it look like an actual like superhero. Because
Yeah.
I think the chains is good at the start for the ceremonies and stuff,
Mhm.
but just show him like actually like being like a super strong mythic god dude. It just
Well,
makes more sense.
even coming down to his helmet, which he really is only worn in a
It's a
formal
ceremony thing,
capacity. Yeah.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't want to fight in that thing. The flaps
Yeah.
going everywhere, metal
Clunky.
flaps. Like they're not really flaps. But yeah, and they do a cool costume switch too. Not costume switch, but like where they change it is when he's first on Sakaar and they rip his cape, and it
Yeah.
becomes like the one. Like I don't know, it's almost like what Boba Fett has. It's
Yeah.
just like a pauldron kind of hanging thing. So I thought that was cool. I didn't notice that that's how it changed.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, those are the big changes that I noticed. Obviously, different director, different composer,
Mhm.
I assume different cinematographer. You know what I mean, like pretty much everything is different going into this one.
Yeah. I mean, everything about this movie is really different than the first two.
Completely agree. That's why I think it's like I wouldn't even take what I think about this movie as any sort of most people think this. For most people, they had seen both the Thor movies and they were okay. The last one they didn't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I understand why they went this direction. I think this was necessary to get people back into the theaters for Thor.
Mhm.
I think, you know what I mean? As much as
Yeah.
I have my opinion on it or whatever. And like you were saying, how they keep the song around, when
Uh-huh.
they go to that, when the choir's singing and they're watching the Matt Damon Loki and like Sam
Mm.
Neill Odin,
Yeah.
the song they're singing in the background, I was like, dude, that's from Thor 2. And I double
Yeah.
checked just because I'm a big Thor 2 soundtrack guy.
Mhm.
I was like, that is from the soundtrack. They're singing it bar for bar.
Yeah.
That was cool. I did appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, it takes an effort to pay hom homage to it, even if it is in a silly sense, you know?
Totally. Well, same with the Strange. We had Strange show up, and he had the same kind of sound. I don't know if it's the same exact theme, but it's not Giacchino doing the music. Like
No,
on the soundtrack, it is credited as the guy who did this whole movie, but it has the
same
sound.
instrument.
But that's what's good. You know what I mean? Like, and there is characters like that, like we've talked about with Bucky Barnes, where they don't really have a theme. What really matters is like the sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's certain sounds that's like that's that character. For a long time, for Thor, for me, that was the choir. Like, not a lot of characters got like a choir with their music.
Can I say something about Doctor
Strange?
Strange? This is off topic, kind of on topic because we're talking about costumes.
Yeah,
this is my favorite Doctor Strange outfit. Do you know why?
Dude, he looked straight out of like a cartoon. Like he looked like the embodiment of the character. It was crazy.
Do you know why I think this costume is superior?
I don't know.
He's got one thing in addition that he normally actually, I don't think he ever wears again.
Really?
He's got these yellow gloves. His hands are covered.
Yeah.
So, and actually, now that I think about it, there probably is a really big reason why. They didn't want the makeup department to go over his hands because you have to give him all those scars. But
true.
I think just the vibrancy of this movie, and they're kind of playing into that with Doctor Strange. I just love the yellow glove look.
Going one step further, the look might have been playing into that. This is my favorite Doctor Strange appearance ever. This is any movie he's in, anything.
Is it because he's a protector of the sanctum and protector of the world?
It's everything about it. It's the way that the sanctum is filmed, like really dark, like really mysterious. Like you can't even tell what you're looking at in the background. There's just cases full of something. Yeah. It's the way that he keeps cutting around. He's like, take a seat. Boom, they're in the seat. You know what I mean? They do like the practical mug switch out. You know what I mean? Where they just do the camera close up and then go back out and the mug switch. The camera tricks with Strange are amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're just classic camera tricks. You know what I mean? They're just jump cuts. But with a character like Strange, if you do it right, you really get the sense that these characters are like when Thor first walks up and he has the knock on the door and he falls, like he's just in the room and his hand goes down. Like this stuff's so much fun.
Well, and this is the first time that we've seen Doctor Strange as the Sorcerer Supreme.
Totally. And when he like first hovers out, he's like all in the shadow. I couldn't even tell. Like I was like, is he wearing a hood? Like what kind of pose? Because he's just like all of these things from his cape are going out.
Yeah,
he's just super cool looking. I think this is my favorite appearance of him. He's just this guy in this crazy mansion, like with portals and cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's building up to stuff. You know, he's really concerned about Loki, and I think rightfully so. You know, Loki refuses to die, shows up again, and plays a huge part. And you know, I hate to say it, but I think he's going to play an even bigger part. Not going to say what, but
what? No,
I know.
Loki's done for it.
I'm excited to watch Infinity War for the first time.
Figure out what's going on there. Oh, dude, something early in the movie. I just want to say this before I forgot it. When Surtur's crown, when he's fighting Thor, and his head like hits the ground, it's the sound from CinemaSins on YouTube, and it just took me out of it for a second. Like it was like the intro to the movie, and then it's like the sound effect that everybody knows. That's just where I recognize it from, but it's like the basic metal clank sound.
I don't think I caught that.
It's I don't know. I just noticed it just because it was like the same sound effect. Just want to throw that out. That's in the notes. Yeah, dude. I just want to take a moment again. I appreciate the Doctor Strange music consistency. That is all I asked for looking back. And like I said, I don't remember that being there. You know what I mean? It's the same as when we went back to Age of Ultron. And I was like, oh, the themes do carry over into this. Yeah. Or Winter Soldier, where it's like, oh, it is just a new rendition of the theme. It's not a completely new theme. That's the fun stuff about the rewatch, is noticing things like that. Hey guys, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Effortless Expeditions, a Disney-centered travel agency. here to help you plan your next Disney vacation. Contact them today for a free, no-obligation quote. Wherever the destination, they make the experience truly effortless. This episode of the Sacred Rewatch is also brought to you by Bronson Made, a digital marketing and branding agency that helps businesses grow and stand out. With the idea of our canvas, your story, Bronson Made makes the creative process simple, collaborative, and effective. Find out more at bronsonmade.com or follow them on Instagram at bronsonmade. And also, very important to this movie, comedy still hits. I said I had this issue with Ant-Man, where watching Ant-Man, comedy was not hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Something about the way it was cut, performance, after the first time I had seen it and knew the jokes, was not hitting for me.
Yeah.
This movie, every joke was still working.
Mm-hmm.
I will say. Sometimes the timing was the best. But
I may have to disagree with you a little bit. I feel like the first 45 minutes of it, I don't remember feeling the same way that I did when I first watched it, or even the last couple of times I've rewatched it. I don't know if I was in the right mood necessarily to have a good laugh, but I felt like the last hour, especially, because the stakes are getting higher, but I definitely felt like the comedy was much better in the second half. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I know what it was. So I don't even know if you remember this because this was so long ago. But a while back, we had went back and watched all the Netflix shows. And there's something that wasn't in those shows, and it's called comedy. So watching a movie like this, like, it took me a while. I was like, wait a minute.
To get right in the right headspace. Because I did, I think you're right. Because as soon as I finished episode 13 of Jessica Jones season 3, turned on Ragnarok right away.
That's how I was. You know what I mean? And I genuinely think that did affect going into this for me.
Probably.
Because I was like, oh, wait, characters can be likable. You know what I mean? And then you got to the end of the movie, and I was like, wait a second. These guys wrote the end of the movie before, like, when they wrote the start of the movie, and it actually goes together?
They had a finished script before they started shooting the movie.
I'm surprised I didn't give this a 25 out of 25. Because this is like seeing like a moving picture for the first time.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, is the train going to go through the TV? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I hadn't seen CGI of this scale in 6 seasons. You know what I mean? Well, this is crazy to me.
And I'm super glad you brought up the point about the CGI. You remember what I texted you about the other day or yesterday?
I do.
Let me read you the text that I sent Brody and Wyatt. I said, I don't know if it's just me, and this can be a conversation for tomorrow, which is right now. But the CGI is not holding up as much as I thought it would in Ragnarok, which is weird for me to say because it came out in 2017. I'm used to, when we watched Thor for the first time, I had the expectation that the CGI was going to be very good because that movie came out in 2010.
Yeah.
A lot of CGI development happened from 2010 to 2017, and I think positively. I know a lot of people will say, well, you look at Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. That CGI from 2007 still holds up incredibly. The Transformers, right?
Right.
But at the same time, we have to give props. Those are very outlier examples of great CGI back then. But majority of the time, CGI, when taken care of appropriately, has turned out better as time has gone on. Agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, each time it's going to be the same thing. No matter what they do, it's always going to be, you have to come up with some sort of approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really carry over one project to another. That's what people don't seem to get. You know what I mean? It's like, just because these people really perfected making robots doesn't mean everybody in the business knows how to make robots. You know what I mean? Or that they're going to be the same, have the same problems. And with these Marvel movies, like, this movie has a lot of CGI. You know what I mean? We're like, I gave it the upper hand. You know what I mean? But I'm never a big, like, CGI has to look like real. But there were points where I was looking at it and I was like, I see what Ethan's talking about. When they're going through the Bifrost and it's Hela chasing them and they're looking like up and down at each other and it's just like a blurry background of the rainbow. I was like, okay, I can see what you're talking about. Or when they're in the arena, I was like, this is a very bland.
See, I think the number one thing that stuck out to me, the number one shot that stuck out to me was the first time Valkyrie shows up and she's got her ship and she's shooting everybody.
Just like,
That seemed very off to me.
while she's
Like,
shooting or when she falls off the walkway?
no, while she's shooting. It's like the first
Yeah.
5 minutes when Thor gets to Sakaar.
Yeah.
But I do think as the movie went on, maybe my eyes adjusted to it better. Maybe it was that idea that we just got done watching a TV show that has very little CGI, very used to
Mhm.
practical. I mean, it really just comes down to like what you're comparing the CGI to. So it maybe is just an adjustment thing, you know?
Yeah, and like I said, there's, like they start the movie with some scenes on Earth, but where other Thor movies have relied on taking place on Earth-like planets or Earth-like locations, this
Yeah.
movie does have, like, an entirely CGI place, almost entirely,
Hmm.
where, like, there's a lot being asked of it, and then you don't even mention things like Hulk or Korg or thing you know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot of CGI stuff going on. I mean,
There's a lot.
pretty much all the bad guys include CGI in some way, except for Jeff
Well, and I
Goldblum.
actually think
Is he a bad guy? He's Jeff Goldblum.
it's really just the background, I think. I think all the characters,
Agreed.
Hulk, all the other CGI characters were great.
Yeah,
I think they knocked it out of the park.
I agree. But, like, it was funny with the arena because it's when he's walking out, and at first I'm like, "That background doesn't look like it goes with what he's doing." And this is a
Yeah.
shot of, like, when he, like, puts the helmet down from the trailer. That
Yeah,
shot
they're
looked
kind
like
of
it
doing like
was
this pan.
6K. It looked like it was
Yeah.
6K. Like, it was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's in the trailer. That is the most amazing shot," and then it cut back to it,
Yeah.
and it's like, the red's kind of faded on the walls, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's what the background looked like, is it just looked faded, and
Yeah.
there was, like there's nothing in the arena, so it just doesn't help its case.
Uh,
Yeah, I got a lot of notes for this movie.
go for it.
Let's get into it. Oh, I also wanted to say, this is going back to Strange Thing. It's funny that he does it because Michael Giacchino does do our next Thor movie.
Mm.
So it's kinda a funny prelude to that.
Yeah, that
Um,
is interesting.
I really loved the scene of Jeff Goldblum when he goes, "On any other planet, I'd be, like, 3,000,000 blah, blah, blah years old," and he goes, "But on this planet, I'm" and then he just switches the conversation. He doesn't even say it. I thought that
Yeah.
was top notch, right?
Mhm.
One thing that never gotten over, Thor's homies get disrespected so hard in this movie. Uh, they get recast, they get just killed for no good
Yeah.
reason. Like, I understand like, it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Because like, that's one of the things where I'm like, I'm fine with new directors coming in, and,
Yeah.
like, obviously, you're trying to set up, like, "Oh, hell, it just kills people no matter who they are."
Mhm.
But, like, it was just weird. Like, they're the people that happen to be at the Bifrost station when she shows up. Like, it just felt weird. It's like, these people could have been with Heimdall. Like, they could
Yeah.
have just been helping people get out of Asgard.
Mhm.
But I feel like what it really was they're like, "Okay, but if we keep them around, we either have to have them." I don't even know. Can I talk about it? Can I talk about I guess we can't really talk about it, but it would be a problem in later movies.
Mhm.
So I feel like they were like, "Here's your task for this movie. You have to get rid of these characters. You have to keep these characters."
Mhm.
That's what I feel like it was like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Instead of just keeping them along for the story. And because you're
Mhm.
bringing new characters like Valkyrie where you have to kinda make room. So but yeah, it was kinda just weird. They felt so out of place
Mhm.
to me.
I would agree with
Uh,
you on that one.
yeah, and then I got the let's see, World of Pure Imagination playing as he's in the chair going through. Perfection. I wish we got Jeff Goldblum singing that as the end credits, like, music.
Mm.
I feel
Yeah.
like that would've been the final touch, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But that chair scene's super funny. It feels like, I don't know, it's just comedy that's, like, really out of place with Marvel, almost.
Mhm.
Like, it almost felt like a Lego Movie joke or something when he's in the chair and
Yeah.
they suddenly start talking about how bad it is. Feels like that scene in the Lego Movie where they're talking about, like, all these great companies and then they accidentally bring up, like, all the bad stuff they've done. But I thought that was a good bit. Sparkles is still a funny scene to me.
It
He's
is.
like, "I'm the god of thunder," and then his, like, hands, like, light up a little bit and he goes, "Ooh." You got sparkles there, yes. He has
I
little
didn't remember
sparkles
that, and I
on
think that
your
was the first
fingers.
time I like actually was like, oh, it's okay to laugh because what I remember was he just didn't have any power, you know. But then he
Yeah,
had the little
you
touch,
got a little
and Jeff
glow,
Goldblum makes the joke.
right? Oh, yes, you got a little sparkles there, yes. He's so funny, dude. I saw Jeff Goldblum at D23 once. Magical. He's like seeing a
He's
unicorn.
pretty cool, really.
Dude, it's one of those it's like if you saw Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Like, you almost can't even fathom that, like, that kinda human exists, but Jeff Goldblum is just so funny, dude.
Uh, oh, uh.
Um, Continuity was good with the last Thor movies when Thor says the name of, Korg species, because he
Oh
just
yeah,
fought one in the last movie, so I was like, "Okay." Obviously, they remembered that. That was just good
hmm
continuity. Again, that's all I'm asking for. Just some continuity between, like if he was like, "Oh, what are you?" You know what I mean? I
yeah,
just appreciate that. Strong Attack of the Clones vibes from Loki and Thor. They felt tons like Anakin and Obi-Wan from Attack of the Clones to me,
yeah.
just with how they're like how they talk. You know what I mean?
Uh huh.
What else we got? The Odin visions throughout the movie, I think were goofy. It's just a shot of Odin with the water in the background. He's just standing there, and like he's like in like Thor's in the arena fighting. He just gets this vision of just Odin just standing there. Like I knew what they
Can
were
I
going
be
for, but it
can I
was
be
just so
vulnerable for a
stupid.
moment?
Go for it.
Every time I watch this movie, the last Odin vision scene when Hela is like,
I do like that one.
What are you the god of?" And every time I watch that, I just get chills every single time, and almost every time as well. I almost get a little teary-eyed when he goes, "But I'm not as strong as you." He goes, "No, but you're stronger." Like, even think about it right now, like, I can feel I have no idea why I've ever felt that way about that scene, but even not just, the buildup of the whole movie, but if I were to go watch it on YouTube, I feel the same way every single time, and
Yeah.
I I I cannot explain it into words, but that is, like, one of the most emotional scenes for me when, like, Thor is really, like, down on his luck, and he thinks
Yeah.
because we've seen him get knocked over again and again and again by Odin. And Odin's like, "You're
Mhm.
not as strong as me. You're not making the right decisions." And I think Odin's partially right. I think
Yeah.
for the first two movies, he makes a lot of errant, immature decisions. But then watching, Thor really struggle with his own sister that he didn't know existed and knew that it was inevitable that Asgard was going to come crumbling down. Like, he never admitted it until the really end, but he knew there was
Yeah.
no, like, win-win situation for this. And he's like, "Well, I don't have my hammer." And that's all we've ever identified with Thor is he's got this hammer. He's
Even he
got
does.
Mjolnir. Huh?
Even he does. And you have to think about it, for him, it's like, who knows how many years he's had that hammer.
Mhm.
Like a long time, thousands, right?
Yeah.
How old is he?
I think he was like 1,500.
So he's had that hammer for a long time.
So, something about that scene when he's like, you're not the god of hammers. What are you?"
Yeah.
And then it emotionally changes for me, obviously, because you have "Immigrant Song" by Led Zeppelin, like,
Mhm.
right into, like, one of the greatest music montages
Right.
in the MCU, probably.
One of the best needle drops.
And so, like, it just does such a great job of, like, playing with your emotions in such a positive way. Like,
Yeah.
I will never, ever, like, feel differently about that scene because it just hits every single time.
Not to mention, we also first time watching this in the theaters and stuff, you were shocked that Thor lost his eye because that was
Yeah.
edited out in all the
Mhm.
trailers. So you
Yeah.
also had a visceral reaction like, "Oh my gosh, that just happened."
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, but I had to watch that scene twice. I had to go back later because it was bothering me just because I don't know. Again, some of the stuff I just have to revisit because on initial thoughts, it was like, it felt, I don't know, it just felt weird, but I guess I had to rationalize it. I was like, stronger, like, I feel like they could have said, like, "Oh, you're a better leader, you're better," you mean, like, something? Like, better man or whatever, and I was like, "Well, no, because then that would be Captain America." Like, what do Asgardians truly, like, try to represent? What do they need to be a leader? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then in that way, that line was then rationalized for me, and I said, "Okay, that's good." Because I said, if he would have said, "You're a better man," or something, then one, that wouldn't have felt like Odin, I don't think,
Mm-hmm.
and that would have felt like he's talking to Captain America. You know what I
Well,
mean? So I
I
had to go
think
back and revisit that.
I think maybe why you feel this way is because Taika Waititi, in all seriousness, does not handle very serious moments very well. He always has to throw a joke in, and it's like the only time that a joke isn't thrown in, right?
Yeah,
Even like the next closest serious scene that they have is at the very end. All the Asgardians are on the
this
ship.
thing bothered me so
The
bad.
four, like 4 or 5 of them: Korg, Thor, Valkyrie, Loki, maybe
Meek
Heimdall, are
said,
all standing there. And
yep.
Korg is like having this moment where he's talking about, like, this isn't really the end. Like, we'll come
"The
back,
foundation's still there. We can
and it
rebuild it."
just it explodes,
For
and
all
it did
people.
really make me chuckle
And he
because
goes,
it's.
"Well, there goes the foundation. Sorry, guys." He says something like that. "Sorry, guys, the foundation's gone." And that's what sucks, is it is a hilarious line,
Yeah,
but this is something where in a rewatch,
it's a very
again,
serious situation when you really think about it.
this is when we get back into it on a rewatch. This is my main problem with this movie, is based off the visions that we got in Age of Ultron. What was set up was it was going to be this fantasy epic of
Hmm.
how Asgard was gonna fall.
Hmm.
We didn't know there was this alien planet with Jeff Goldblum on it, with the Hulk on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's two
So
drastically different toned movies.
I know,
Age
but
of
I'm
Ultron
just saying,
versus.
since that vision was supposed to represent this, kind of the nail in the coffin for me is, like, they're showing Asgard get blown up, and then they tell the joke. And I was like, as funny as that joke is, which is why I think they left it in, you know what I mean? It's one of those where I'm like, this is a pretty serious thing.
Yeah.
But then again, like you're saying, Thor's already been through so much. How
Hmm.
much more like, it's not like Thor's gonna have to be super devastated about that because he's already pretty destroyed by the time we get to that point.
Well,
Even though it might mean a lot to the audience, it really doesn't mean that much to Thor because he's already
no.
lost pretty much everything.
Lost his mom, his dad, his brother
Yeah.
twice, who's still alive, standing next to him.
Yeah. Meek for 5 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And then
Yeah, that was funny too. I was like, I didn't remember Meek dying, and he's like, "Oh,
I
he's
stepped him
he's
on the
alive."
bridge. By accident, I stepped on him on the bridge. "Oh, guys, Meek's back." I was like, "Oh."
Because I was
There's
watching
like
it
a
and I
little
was like,
there's a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope thrown in there.
because I was like, really, I was really like, wow, I wish I could, like, obviously the guy doesn't talk, but wish I could, like, know a little bit more about Meek. He's got
Yeah.
these
An
not like
animated
sword
series
for
or
hands,
something.
and then
Like,
Korg is
"Is that
like,
slime or is that eggs you're laying?" In that scene when he's, like, just sitting there, there's, like, eggs all over the ground. "Are you laying
yeah.
eggs?" It's so funny, dude. Korg is funny. I will say
Korg.
Korg is a very likable character.
Hmm.
Can't say the line because 'cause I'll have to censor it, but when he runs up and kicks the wall when Loki's there, hilarious.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Uh, "The revolution has begun." Like, all his lines are
Oh,
super
that when he said the revolution began, I go, oh my god, his dream's coming true.
right? "So the hammer would hop on your back, and then you'd fly away?" Like, there's just so many good
But
lines.
he's asking serious questions. Like,
So
really, when you think
sincere,
about it, how does it work?
which
You've
is
never
when
seen
it's
it
good.
happen.
Like, it has to be like a Drax thing where it makes sense for the character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Korg is one of those where it's like, this is like Thor needs something comedic in this movie right now, or it's just gonna be this really sad movie. All
Yeah.
these
I mean,
characters are from these
if you
tragic
don't have any
backstories.
comedy in it, Thor seems like the most depressing character of all time. You know?
Exactly. Jeff Goldblum would have been the only funny thing in this movie. Not true. I
Yeah.
get that they are doing funny things, but they're in very serious emotional states
Hmm.
throughout the movie. Um, Mark Ruffalo was fun. Sometimes it's fun to be like, "Oh, Mark Ruffalo is in the MCU, and he is
Hmm.
an actual, like, actor person. He's not always just this giant green dude."
Yeah.
And I thought they did really well with those scenes where Thor says pretty much the same thing to him and Hulk.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I don't like Banner." He's all type, 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 type. You know what I mean? And then he goes to Banner. He's like, "No,
Hmm.
I don't like Hulk." He's all like, "Smash, smash, smash." And I was like, "Dude, that's funny." And then he just
Yeah.
keeps doing the whole time he's walking around with him. He's like, "Sun's getting low. Sun's getting low." And I was
That
like, "Dude,
was
that's
funny
so funny." Because
because
like
it's
Hulk
almost a meta
Spencer. He's
conversation
trying to
to a
help. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
But
He's trying
I
to help.
almost see it as it's like a meta conversation about how stupid Natasha and Bruce's relationship is. At least I do not care for it, and you know that. But it's almost like a meta conversation. Like, where did that come from? Why did that start? You know?
I guess it was just a show that they work as a team. They must have had to figure out some way to control Hulk.
I guess, but you got to show me a little bit more. You know?
Because I
I
mean,
need
what
to
else
see
can you
like
do?
I don't know. I don't
Give
know.
it like you can't give him a needle and then he just like stops being Hulk.
Uh huh.
But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Oh, I didn't like the whatchamacallit, the Hulk voice in this movie.
It did. It.
It sounded like very digital with the filter they
Hmm.
were putting on it, especially
Yeah.
when he like half turns into him. He's like, I don't want to turn into him or something, right? And he like turns like a little bit green, and it just sounded like again like a keyboard. Like it sounded like the music for this movie. It didn't
Well,
sound
this
like
is
an
the
actual
most
voice. You could
calm
barely tell
Hulk
me
we've
saying.
seen as well, though. You know, at certain
True.
points.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like the filter. I
Hmm.
do appreciate that it looked more like Mark Ruffalo. I
Yeah.
think they're doing way better expression. I think his comedy is still hilarious, but he's still more of a character than he was in the Avengers movies.
Hmm.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that's so much fun with him. It's just in the background when he's like throwing the ball off the wall, you know what I mean? And then he
Hmm.
like drops it by accident. Like, they just do really good at like what's funny. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of that might stem from Groot, seeing how Groot did with Guardians.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of how they got like, oh, we can do like more like physical gags in like the back of the scenes.
Hmm.
Because Groot had a lot of that stuff where he's messing with stuff in the background.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe that kinda kicked off like, "Oh, we can do that with Hulk," even though
Yeah.
it is, like, basic comedy stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, I had a question.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the movie where Loki puts his hand up to Valkyrie's head, and we see the vision of what happened to the Valkyries.
I got Wanda vibes from that.
I got Kylo Ren vibes. I was thinking when Kylo Ren does that, and he's all seeing people's memories and stuff.
What is it? A dyad?
Yeah, that's in the last movie.
Dyad of the Force?
But in the first ones, he's just like, "Hey, Poe Dameron, what's going on here?" And then he goes, like, up to Rey, and then we're seeing the you mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think the head canon around it is Loki's the god of mischief.
Magic.
He's 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 not really a son of a witch because he was adopted, but I guess he
Adopted son of a witch.
learned how to do it from his witch mom. I guess.
I wouldn't call her that, it's a little crude, but
No, 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 no. It was witch with the W.
even then, I mean, that might be still just a mean term.
No, 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 no. She's actually a witch.
She's actually probably one of the nicest characters in the MCU.
Yes. No, I would agree.
Like
I would agree.
like, honestly.
No, I would agree. I would agree very much. So
But yeah. No, I don't know, it was very interesting. It's just one of those
well,
cool things where I was like, I don't know,
it's
it's cool.
just a really, really fun movie.
So much fun. But that is the other thing that's different is we get the soundtrack stuff where they are playing, like, needle drops and stuff,
Hmm.
which I'm
So
it's okay with this kind.
let's talk about this movie in terms of the greater MCU. You know, like we said, this is the first movie we've watched in a while, and we have a sprint to the finish line now to Infinity War, right? And I
It
think
was
this
literally
movie,
the end of this movie. The end of this movie
yeah.
is like, "Oh, by the way, this movie's coming up." And I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh,
So, how do you feel that, like, in terms of the rewatch itself, take everything that we've done to this point? Do you feel like it's almost unfair to have Infinity War this close just because we felt so far removed from, you know, the grand scale of the MCU because we've been watching these street level heroes for so long?
Yeah, I would say to most people, I would not recommend this
No,
as
I
a form
wouldn't
of a
either.
rewatch.
Mhm.
And again, I wouldn't normally recommend The Defenders to anyone.
Yeah.
Um, like I still think even I don't know. Like I feel like we'll have to see with the Disney Plus stuff. But I
Yeah.
feel like most of that is made for people that do like the Defenders. I feel like
Mhm.
trying to get new people into the Defenders, it's possible, but I would not confidently do it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, no, it feels very odd jumping back into the story like this. There is some stuff like that with other franchises, but it's usually not as harsh as this.
Yeah.
This is a harsh jump like back into this stuff, and then you're getting a comedy movie, and then the
Really
ending.
we're really getting 2 comedy movies before, like, a very, very serious thing.
Yeah,
We
no,
got
totally.
this and then Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is gonna be our next project right before Infinity War. So, I guess it kinda does eases into, like, the idea, like, stuff's about to get really real, you know?
And it gives a lot of perspective. Like a lot of people attack the movies that we're getting nowadays and just say like, "Oh, well, they're just like comedy fun movies. There's no weight
Mhm.
to them."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Well, really, that weight kind of even though it's in certain scenes in those old movies,
Mhm.
for the most part we were getting movies like this,
Yeah.
where it was the next iteration. It had some good comedy, it had like a villain, you mean?
Mhm.
Copy and paste, make some stuff different, unique director and stuff, you mean?
Yeah.
But, like, it does give you perspective, like, it can switch that quick. So when people
Yeah.
are saying, like, "Oh, you Fantastic Four was just like a fun family movie, you can't go into, Doomsday after that," or something like that, it's like, well, no, because, you have Thunderbolts and stuff before that. The
Mhm.
tone switches have always been vast. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Absolutely.
Like, it's just always how it is. And then once you're watching that specific project, you just have to meet it where it is. As a
Mhm.
comedy, you have to just be expecting jokes, you know what I mean? You can't really I don't know. Like you're saying, it is a dramatic switch.
Mhm.
Jessica Jones season 3 does not tie directly into this in any way. Thor didn't show up at the end of that one and say, "I gotta go back to Asgard."
Yeah. Well, I think that's weird about the Defender series is that and I say series, like, all the all the shows, like,
Yeah, the collection of them.
they don't they don't have real closure. They don't have a big event. Their
No
big team up
consequence.
movie or team up project happened at the very beginning, and it was just ways to branch out their stories, and we never really have that closure that, their story still is being written, really. Got Daredevil
And
coming back and Jessica Jones coming back.
it's a tough thing too, because a lot of that just gets saved by people liking the content.
Mhm.
You mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot like there's gotta be a few movies in the MCU where they're just loose ends.
Mhm.
Their villain dies, they don't come back. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But it's something about the shows where, like, you really I cannot justify them really being in the rewatches and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see any benefit. You know what I mean? Daredevil, maybe, but in general, no.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was saying earlier in last episode, like, I don't wanna come to a conclusion just yet because we have yet to see, really what their final chapter is going to be, or what at
Mhm.
least a good stopping point for them is going to be. But as of right now, I'm with you. It's very hard to justify this complete rewatch saying, "Hey, you need to go watch The Defenders because it's super important to Secret Wars, to Doomsday," which is a good thing because you're not putting this
Yeah.
workload that you're having everybody to go watch, you know?
But like I said, it doesn't even have to be important, you just have to like it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And that's the tough thing.
Yeah.
Is like, a lot of these, I just can't even justify going back just to watch them.
Mhm. No, I would agree with you. I would
Yeah.
agree with you a lot. I mean, any final thoughts? We've been going on for a while now, not just this episode, but recording before this.
I don't know, the ending's crazy. Also, I was like, Heimdall can see everything, and yet for some reason he doesn't see like the biggest threat in the world showing up at their front door. Like, can't Heimdall like sense that in some way?
I want to say that my head canon around it is he knows it's inevitable.
Yeah. But he's so confident when he tells Thor that he saved Asgard. But I
Even
guess
though the imminent threat was, not only 15 minutes away.
yeah, but I guess I don't actually know how it ends up being.
No, what are we talking about?
But now I'm very confused. I'm gonna ask you after this because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. We need to keep this rewatch going.
Yeah.
Because now I have this big question mark in my head of like, wait, but this happened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. They're just like, I don't know. It's so lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. One last thing.
Yeah.
I really liked it's simple writing stuff. But when Thor's in the prison and he throws the thing and he goes through Loki. And at the end of the movie, he says like, "Oh, if you were really here, I would hug you." And then he throws the thing, and then Loki actually catches it. And then it cuts. Yeah. Good. That felt like Guardians Volume 2. That's kind of the vibe. It felt like those scenes that you got like Gamora and Nebula.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's just like, okay, like that's a good little push for their characters going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Goldblum's amazing though.
He is great.
And Stan Lee cameo is probably one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing Stan Lee cameo.
I would agree.
Creepy guy, cut my hair, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny stuff.
Well, next week we've got our next assignment is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel to Ant-Man. And then we've got really the project I think we've all been waiting for. Maybe the second most anticipated project we've got is
you want to say Avengers? It at the same
time? We'll see if our delay is good. If we got no delay, we'll say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Avengers Infinity War.
No.
I think the delay is bad there.
We'll do it again. I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
Okay. The second most anticipated project that we've got in this rewatch. Yep. All right. 1, 2, 3. Secret Invasion.
Morbius.
Oh man.
We almost had it there.
All right. Third time's the charm. Third time is the charm.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Oh my gosh. We got it. Brains
I told you we're more dialed than ever. We're literally having this conversation.
War score is the same after that. That will be hilarious. We just witnessed live us synchronizing our brains. That was crazy. If you watched this whole podcast and you got to this point, you just witnessed something magic. That was not improvised. That was real magic.
No, it was improvised.
Well, we didn't like. Yes.
If you've watched a good amount of these episodes, you realize how really unscripted these shows are.
Dude, hey. But they're amazing, aren't they?
Especially, highly recommend going and check out Jessica Jones season 3 episode we did. Had about a 30-minute stint talking about hamburgers and how they relate to the MCU.
It was good, man. We have to see. I wonder how many hamburgers, cheeseburgers are in MCU projects. In the background, in diner
We'll have to
scenes,
start over just to count.
And then we'll rank them. Dude, the hamburger rewatch. We got to see where they're at. Rate them out of 25.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it.
Well, I think that is going to do it for this episode of The Sacred Rewatch. We hope you enjoyed diving all over the timeline with this. Catch us next week where we are finally watching Ant-Man and the Wasp and Avengers Infinity War.
What? Small
New
guy
recap episodes are coming out every week leading up to Avengers Doomsday. Be sure to stay on this rewatch with us, because we are going to take a little bit of a break from the 616 universe. We're going to be doing X-Men projects. We're going to be doing the Sonyverse. We're going to be doing the original Fantastic Four movies. We've got a lot of great stuff on the docket that you wouldn't typically think of, including, I think, my favorite one that I'm looking forward to, Howard the Duck. Wherever you are in the multiverse, thanks for making the Sacred Rewatch part of your journey for all time, always. See you guys.